Hey, it's Bobby. Hope you're doing well on this fine day. And if you're not, I have a little fun thought experience that you can participate in, and that might just shift that a little bit for you. I hope it does. Little context, first of all. I was working with a group, a mastermind group that I have on enlightened leadership. And the people that are in this group are either like Fortune 100 executives that are kind of managing a division or a line of business within their company. Some of them are CEOs and of their own company. And we were focusing on perception and perspective and attention shifting coaching models. What are some ways that we can shift the way people are perceiving something that may change their relationship with the present moment? And I brought up the idea that life unfolds divinely. And I got a little bit of pushback. They kind of rankled with that a little bit. And I could feel the shift in the energy change in the group. And I'm like, all right, what's going on? And somebody spoke up and said, we work in big corporations, and talking about religion is not something that is encouraged. And in some organizations, it's not even permitted. So we looked for a synonym that we could use, and I offered perfectly. And it was interesting in this group that actually perfectly in their mind was a level above divinely, which I don't really get. But, that's the feedback that I've got. And they were pushing back against that. It's kind of that we're conditioned not to really anticipate that anything's going to be perfect, at least not in this lifetime. We've been conditioned to believe that there's always room for improvement. So one of the people on the call pulled out their phone and started to read the dictionary definition of perfect. And the first definition was flawless, that just like a flawless diamond, that was perfect. And the second definition, though, was a little bit different, and I thought fit really, really well. In fact, I thought it fit perfectly for the conversation that we have. So I'll read to you the second definition, and less common. And it says, it refers to the state or condition where all elements or aspects relevant to a particular situation or context are fully and completely present, and no further improvement or alteration is needed. It goes on. It denotes an ideal state attained or achieved with no room for error, no flaw or deficiency. Perfect implies a level of completeness and absoluteness that cannot be exceeded or improved upon. It's characterized by a high degree of precision, excellence, and satisfaction. So we kind of played around with that a little bit, and I'd like you to play around with it a little bit as well. So I'm going to read the dictionary definition again, and just see what event that you have experienced recently. Maybe like a miracle that you witnessed, or a truly awe inspiring moment. Just see what comes up for you. So here's the definition again. Perfect refers to a state or condition where all elements or aspects relevant to a particular situation or context are fully and completely present, and no further improvement or alteration is needed. It denotes an ideal state attained or achieved with no room for error, no flaw, no deficiency. Perfect implies a level of completeness and absoluteness that cannot be exceeded or improved upon. And it's characterized by a high degree of precision, excellence and satisfaction. So, as I said earlier, I'd like you to call to mind an experience, and it can be ordinary. I mean, a beautiful sunset can feel miraculous. It certainly can be awe-inspiring. The one that came to mind for me as I was thinking about it was about a year ago. I had the chance to go to Hawaii, and going there actually was a happy accident. While I was there, one of the things that we did while we were there was swim with the manta rays at the Kona Outrigger Surf Club. And it's a very interesting space. They've been doing this since the late 60s. They bring in boats with these gigantic, super long kind of surfboard looking things out back that have these bright lights underneath that shoot down into the water. That water attracts plankton and little microscopic sea creatures that the manta ray love to snack on. And so we were out there for about 90 minutes or so, and literally the manta rays were swimming up and coming that close. In fact, I was there for about an hour and a half, and 8 or 9 times I actually got grazed by one of the wings as they were flapping upside down through the air, which is the way that they eat. They do this loop-de-doo, and it was miraculous to be able to witness that in person. And as I look back at that experience, I can catalog the number of things that had to happen in order for that experience to unfold just the way that it did. So, can you call one to mind? Do you have an experience that was awe-inspiring, just one where time stopped for you? And it was just one of those things that an experience beyond words. And now I want to share with you uh, just some ideas around that and kind of what we talked about. First of all, in talking to Albert Einstein, the quantum physicist Werner Heisenberg of the uncertainty principle fame said, "The world is not only stranger than you think it is stranger than you can think." And that reminds me of a quote that Stephen Jobs said at one point, that looking forward, it's impossible to connect all the dots. That's what faith is: proceeding confidently in the direction that you want to travel with the awareness that the universe can connect the dots all by itself. Now, looking in the rearview mirror, it's easy to connect those dots. You know, we have the ability of time, and we can see all of the cool little miracles, the little happy accidents that had to happen for that moment to unfold. So I'd love for you to play around with that energy and with your own experience, and you can call more than one to mind. And I think one of the things that you'll notice is the exact thing that they talk about in the movies that have time traveling as a subject. You know, they always warn the time traveler in the movies and in the stories, don't change anything, don't interact anything, because one little shift can have a dramatic effect on how the future unfolds. You know, if time traveling was a thing, which presumes that time is a thing, which more and more the quantum physicists are telling us that's an illusion, a mental construct as well. It's easy to see too that many of the events that seem rather ordinary are miraculous on that level as well. I was having breakfast with a client a little while, a ways back, and she and I have very similar backgrounds. We both moved to Alaska from the southeast United States. She came from Georgia. I came from Florida. We were both educators in our former life. She was in the scientific community. I was in the financial services industry. Happy accidents brought us to Anchorage, and happy accidents had us meet and get together for breakfast. And it was easy to play with that to see one little shift anywhere along the way. Had we not happened to go to the same event and meet each other, we would just be two wandering generalities, completely unaware of one another. And we have a very interesting and nice collaboration that is unfolding currently. And so, as you play with this energy, regardless of whether you or not you believe yet that it's true that life only unfolds one way, perfectly or divinely, I want to invite you to play around with that and do your own perception, perspective shifting coaching on yourself. And here's the way that you would go about doing that. The next time that you're stuck, that you're, feeling kind of down on yourself or down on your situation or your circumstances or whatever, I just invite you to consider, if life indeed unfolds perfectly or divinely, what am I missing here? Because we all have those moments. I talk about this stuff all day, every day. I still have these moments where I feel stuck or I feel down, or, emotions fluctuate, they oscillate. But if you start to play with that energy and you ask yourself, hey, what am I missing? That sends the rational mind on a very interesting and productive search, looking for what is it that you're not understanding yet that would bring this moment in line with perfection. And in the perspective shifting coaching model that I was teaching, that's a technique that we use to help the coaching client that we're working with to look at things in a different way and create a little bit of space. And that's typically what happens when we get stuck. We're too close to the situation. We're in one of those things where the old saying, you can't see the forest for the trees. You're so blocked, you're so in the forest, and you've got these trees surrounding you that you can't see the depth and the true appreciation of the forest. And that little shift in perspective creates the space within for insight, intuition, aha moments, fresh thinking, new ideas to occur. And part of the understanding that life unfolds perfectly is the understanding that you are already complete. You're not broken. You don't need to be fixed. You don't need to have anything added to the current moment for you to be in touch with the joy and the bliss and the tranquility and the resilience and the clarity that is our birthright. All of those were installed at the factory by the manufacturer, part of the original equipment that we downloaded for this human experience. So play around with that a little bit, and please comment down below. If you get stuck and this means nothing or you don't understand, do that. And if I need to clarify this a little bit, I'm happy to do that. But I think what's going to happen is a couple of different things. One is you're going to see that in many, many ways, ordinary moments are miraculous. I mean, it can be as something as little as you saying something nice to somebody who's struggling in that moment, or somebody saying the words that you need to hear in that moment to create that flash of intuition, that insightful moment. And regardless of whether or not you believe this concept today, playing around with the energy, swimming in that stream, from that perspective will begin to show you the divine unfolding of life in the only way that it ever does it, perfectly. Ciao for now. Play around with it. Write a comment, shoot me a DM, let me know how it's going. And if you have a really cool experience that you'd like to share with the group, give me a shout and let's do a quick video and talk about it a little bit. I think that would be kind of fun to do. So again, ciao for now. Thanks for tuning in.